will do the,
reading tonight.
Okay,
Member Berger will read the minutes and all
okay, the streaming is on, Chairman?
Okay.
We're live?
that. Yeah.
All right, Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do the roll call?
Yes.
Chairman Mr. Clark?
Here.
Member Shulevitz?
Here.
Member Cavell?
Here.
Member Berger?
Here.
Member Simonovitz?
Here.
Okay, the approval of the minutes, they're from the May meeting.
I got them here.
I
I'd make a motion, I read through them, Mr. Chairman, that we approve the May 13, 2025 minutes as presented.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Continued public hearing on the application of Caferris Store 2 and 3 Fossey Court. The applicant requested an adjournment to the Thursday, September 11th, 2025 ZBA meeting.
And that's as per the memo, email from their attorney dated June 16th.
Okay. Public hearing on the application of Yeshiva Darkei Emunah Bnos Bina for a proposed site plan to establish a new school of religious instruction known as Bnos Bina, located at 51 Church Road for approximately 375 students, pre-K through grades 12. Schools of general or religious instruction without accessorial housing are permitted in the zone by special permit of the Planning Board as per 210-16B 11 Airmont's zoning code. The site is at the southeast corner of Church and Smith Hill Roads. The parcel has a net lot area of 96,206 square feet, 2.2 plus minus acres, and 80,000 square feet is required. As a corner lot, it has 2 front yards. Per the zoning code, the applicant has selected the easterly lot line as its rear lot line. The site slopes generally downward to the east from Church Road. The slope is mostly gentle, but gets steeper in the eastern portion of the lot. The proposed development avoids the steeper area. All utilities are available to the site. Access will be provided via a double loop driveway system with 2-way access points on Church Road. Access from Church Road provides better sight distance than does Smith Hill Road because of the gentler slope. The first loop provides access to the bus drop-off / pickup area. The second loop, which goes beyond the proposed building, provides access to all 50 parking spaces. The proposed school building will have 2 stories and a basement. It will have a footprint of 15,593 square feet and a total gross floor area of 46,779 square feet. A play area is proposed at the rear of the building to accommodate a more level play area. 2 retaining walls, each with 4-foot tall fences, will be installed along Smith Hill Road and the easterly lot line. Underground stormwater detention will be placed beneath the play area. No dormitory is proposed. All students will be transported to and from the school daily. Variances are being sought from Article 3, 210-16, R35, 210, Attachment Table 3 of both requirements. Table 3, R35, Article 7, Section 56.A, 1, Article 5, Section 35C, and Article 19, 210, 74, Fence of the Residential District of Airmont zoning code as follows. Front yard variance, required 50 feet, proposed 12.3 feet to the parking. Developmental coverage, 20%, required 54% proposed. FAR, 0.4 required, 0.46 proposed. Parking spaces, 186 required, 50 proposed. Fence height, 3.5 feet, required, 11.5 feet proposed. The property is located on the east side of Church Road, approximately 0 feet south of Smith Hill Road, The lot is designated as section 61.08, block 2, lot 1 on the town of Ramapo tax map. The property is located in the R35 zoning district. It's comprised of 2.2 acres. The address is 51 Church Road, Suffolk, New York, 10901.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
before we go on to this matter, I believe that a vote wasn't taken to continue the public hearing for 2 and 3 Fossey Court.
Well, as you are aware, I did send a letter to the planning board, and
No,
I'd like
I
to know
know, I was
what
also
the
going to
answer
mention
to
that.
that.
We got a letter dated June 16th from the attorney for the applicant asking for this
Adjournment.
accommodation. And it was received that same day. And it's been lumped in, but you have to take a vote to continue the public
I'll make a
hearing
motion to continue the public
Before
hearing.
that, we have.
to September 11th, 2025, at
ZBA
8
meeting.
p.m. at Airmont Village.
Oh, Mr. Solis wants to make a motion.
I'll make the motion to continue the public hearing to 2 and 3 Fossey Court at Thursday, September 11, 2025, ZBA meeting at
Second. All in favor? Aye.
I'll vote in favor pending the answer to my letter to the planning board, but I don't think my vote matters.
Okay. I got it, thank you.
Sorry. Just didn't want to.
Or if you
Yeah.
want to start on the application.
Okay.
So,
Mr. Chairman, if you're ready.
well, we're not.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Public hearing on the application of Cherry Lane.
No.
That's after the.
Oh, we just said to go to the next
We
one.
have to do the first
Gentlemen,
application.
last time they wanted the whole thing read.
No.
Okay, then please proceed. What
are you talking
Manuel.
We ready?
Ira, please.
Okay. All right, thank you. Ira Emanuel, RPC in the city, attorney for the applicant. I have with me Ronald Raymond from Colliers Engineering. He is our traffic consultant. And also Richard Reese from Civil Tech Engineering, who is our project engineer. The public hearing notice was a very thorough description of the property, and I'm not going, the project, I'm not going to repeat it here, although I will be asking Ms. Baris to walk you through and walk the public through the project itself. I will give you some background. We have appeared in front of the planning board, and at its last meeting, which was
June 26th.
June 26th, the planning board granted a negative declaration under SECRA and referred the matter to this board, clearing the way for this board to hear the matter and, if it so chooses, to make a determination. So with that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Baris. She'll walk you through the layout and the project, and then we will have a discussion about traffic, parking, and then discuss the variances.
Can everyone in the back hear what's being said?
Can you make sure you use your mics up at the top too? For the
So-
Zoom members.
Loud and proud.
Oh, everyone always hears me.
Yeah.
The microphone is not gonna help. It's only gonna hurt. So the application is for a proposed school, and it is located at the corner of Church Road and Smith Hill Road. This is one existing parcel. There is no subdivision, there is no unsubdivision. This is just one parcel as it is right now. The proposed building faces Church Road, and the two access points are on Church Road. So we're proposing that there would be an entrance further from the intersection. It's further south. Then the buses can pick up and drop off in front of the building. The parking is along the rear, and then there is a one exit, and the exit is what is closer to the intersection. This is the four-way stop sign, in case anyone was not familiar. The area back here in this area, that area is being used for play area. It is open space that would be available for the students. The building is proposed to be 2 stories plus a basement. Parking is along the 3 sides. Now, one thing that I want the board to know, when we were at the planning board, the application started where we had parking in the front. That was put on this side near where the bus pickup and drop off was. The building was a little bit further to the back. We did not have parking in the rear. Based on some of the feedback that we heard at the planning board, we revised the plan to take the parking out of the front. It gives us more land here to landscape and buffer the property and screen it more from the road. But it still keeps the bus drop off here so that the buses and the vehicles can be separate for drop off pickup times. Another thing that we changed based on feedback when we were at the planning board is that the garbage enclosures previously were in this area, and based on some feedback from the board, from neighbors, we relocated the garbage enclosures to this part of the site. This puts it farthest from the neighbors, and there's still plenty of circulation available. We have fencing that goes all the way around, along all the neighbors' properties. This is the area where there's a small area that's a double retaining wall. We have the retaining wall set in from the property line. We have landscaping that's proposed for that area, and it is because this is the portion of the property. I mean, we all know that if you go down Smith Hill Road, it's a hill. We want to have the play area be usable for the children, and so this levels it out just enough that they can make use of the space instead of using it to go sledding or something in the winter. We want to be able to use it all year round. So those are some of the changes that we did. When we relocated the parking to the back here, we were actually able to pick up 5 additional spaces. So for the parking, based on the size of the building, 156 parking spaces would be required. Based on the number of students, 32 parking spaces would be required. And then if you add 1 space per 2 students over the age of 16, that would give another 30 spaces that would be required. So basically the worst case scenario is if you take the number of parking spaces that's required based on size of the building plus the students over 16, we would need 186 parking spaces. We don't need 186 parking spaces. The students, whether they're legally of age to drive or not, they are not allowed to drive. They do not have cars at school. And so based on the number of students alone, 32 spaces would be required. That is much more in line with what they require. We are providing 50 parking spaces. So we're providing more than what the calculation on the number of students would be. In general, we found that number, based on the number of students, is really the number where you end up needing, because we can have spaces, they're not in both spaces at one time, so a lot of the building isn't they're not all using it all the time. So I think that kind of gives an overview of the property. We're providing sewer, water, stormwater, all of those things. They were all reviewed as part of the seeker process. And then, do you want me to go through the variances now, or do you want
one
me
question, Rachel, the 12.3 to the parking in the front, how does that apply now that there's no parking in the front?
So this corner, because this is still a front, this corner from the corner of this parking to this street line, that's 12.3 feet.
Wow.
And then on this side, it's 14.6. So we eliminated this whole area. This was moved out further, and we had parking in this area on this side. So we freed up that space. We were able to pull the building a little bit closer to Church Road, but still keep a substantial buffer. There's still enough room for the buses to turn in and out and around. We did also provide, based on feedback from the fire department, we provide fire truck maneuverability so that they can see they can get all the way around the building, even though it's not required based on the height of the building. But it's an additional precaution. We were able to make it work. So we made sure that all of our radiuses could accommodate the fire truck. They also accommodated a school bus in case, the buses are designed to come in the front,
How many buses goes in the front?
You mean how many can stack at a time? I don't have that offhand, but I think we can fit about 4, so
Mr. Chairman,
we can get that, but I don't have it
I
offhand.
have a question.
So ask.
Well, I wanted to go through you. Where the buses would come out after dropping off students, to make a turn back onto, to leave the parking lot and make a turn onto Church Road. I know the length of the school bus. Is that school bus going to be going onto the incoming lane of Church Road onto the southbound lane? And how many feet from the corner of the four-way stop sign of Church and Smith Hill Road is that driveway cut? I can't, I don't see it clearly on my,
Okay, I can get out.
because it's very important. That is a very extremely busy intersection
Yes, no, we know.
with a four-way
that's why we
stop
have our
sign, which
traffic.
is always questioned by most drivers, even though living in the area. It's a very,
Oh no, you need full.
High volume,
yeah,
stop sign.
I run through there sometimes.
So-
I'm happy that there's a 4-way stop sign there.
full-length buses. I want to know if there's going to be a problem with them going into the southbound lanes coming out of that driveway.
Mr. Cavell, that's part of why Mr. Reaman is
Yes,
here.
so he can speak
All right.
to a lot of those questions. So we kind of wanted to have. There were a lot of questions about the traffic impacts and
All right.
the
I'll be-
buses and stuff. So that's why he's here.
Do you have a traffic study?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
And I put in your packets the review from the planning board traffic engineer, his final review indicating
Thank you.
that all was good. It was in the
Well,
packet. I didn't put the study because that's a planning board job.
One other
I just
question,
gave you
Mr.
the final
Chairman.
memo.
This has to do with the rear of the property, the easterly side of the property, where the play area is supposed to be. Smith Hill Road's on a slope. Is that a gentle slope, that play area?
Well, so yeah, so that's
Could you
actually
describe
why-
that slope?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So, in the existing condition, it is a slope. We want to make it usable, so we are flattening this out. It's not as flat as a soccer field. We're not
No, I,
leveling it, but it will be a gentle slope so that this is usable. And that's why we have the retaining walls. That's the reason why we have retaining walls. Otherwise, we could have graded it out, but then they couldn't use it, and that's not usable. We wanted to create a space that the children can use. So
So
this is all fairly level and open for them. And it's fenced in so that there's no issues. There's no issues them going to neighbors' properties by accident. There's no issues with the street. It's fully fenced in.
Can I ask a question about the fence? Not an objection, just a clarification.
You're gonna have to wait for
Gotta
the
wait.
public hearing. Can I see the basement?
I don't have the architectural plans. I have the site plans.
I couldn't find them.
Oh, the architectural plans would not have been.
You didn't have architectural plans?
Sure.
It doesn't matter, I just wanna see that page, that's all.
We don't have it on the board.
No, I saw it this week, I saw a small format.
You have a particular question with respect to the
I want
basement?
to know how many square feet it is.
How many square feet is the
So
basement? It's a full basement.
The floor plan. Okay, I'm really sorry, but I know when you guys speak, you're gonna want everyone to be quiet. I can't hear when you're talking behind me. I'm very sorry. I will be quiet when it's your turn, but I can't hear when you talk behind me. The footprint of the building is 15,593 square feet, and it will be a full basement.
Yeah, no, but I don't know. Just give me 1 second. How much area is free space between over here and this? Yeah, so I just want to see 29 feet here.
Part of the reason why it's a full basement, by the way, and I'm glad you brought this up.
Yeah.
The original plan had a swimming pool, had an outdoor swimming pool that would have been out in that eastern portion. In order to eliminate that and to consolidate everything, the swimming pool was moved to the inside. And so instead of a half basement that was originally proposed, it's now a full basement in order to accommodate the swimming pool.
Oh, so there will be a swimming pool in the basement?
In the basement, yes, sir.
That's what I want.
Yes, sir.
Doesn't say on the architecture.
I'm sorry?
Doesn't say it on the
It says so
plan.
on the plan.
Can you guys use your mics, please?
Where's the plan?
It sure does, it's on the first page.
Inspector will have the test.
Isn't there?
There it is,
Okay, there you go.
on the first page.
Second page of the plan?
First page.
Foundation page?
First page on the right-hand side.
How much percent of the basement does the swimming pool take up? Give or take. About.
Looks like about a quarter.
That's what I would guess. Yeah, we've got it. It's about a quarter of the basement.
You know, I saw this week a floor mat, much smaller, make everybody's life a lot easier.
Sure. Okay, so I'll go through the rest of the variances. So we are requesting a variance for the front yard to the parking, and as I pointed out, that was the 12.3 over here. So because we're on the corner, this was the front and this is the front, this was the closest spot. We are seeking a variance for the development coverage. A school is only permitted 20% coverage. You know, you think about you would be requiring 186 parking spaces for a building. It doesn't match. You can't have 20% coverage. We are asking for the parking variance, but we're still asking for a development coverage of 54%. That means we have about half the site is covered and about half the site is open space. As you can see, we have left like a considerable open space here that's actually a usable open space. We don't have, it's not super choppy, there is contiguous open space here. We are asking for a minimal variance for the floor area ratio. 0.4 is permitted, and we're requesting a variance for 0.46. So that's 6% over what would be required or what would be permitted. And I talked about the variance for the parking, and then it would be a variance for a fence that's greater than 3.5 feet within the front yard, the height of the wall, plus the 4 foot high fence. We're looking at about 11.5 feet for the total height at the worst spot. And that is where we have, as I said, we have the retaining wall that goes through this area. That levels out our open space so that we have usable play area for the children. We did do it as a tiered wall to minimize and give us room for landscaping. We have the fence on top of the wall that is a safety measure. So I think that in that case it is a well-deserved place to have a retaining wall and fence, and it will be for the benefit overall. And as I said, we do have landscaping that will soften the appearance. The wall was also brought in, so it's not right up against it's not against the property line, it's not against the designated street line, so if they had to widen in the future, there's no impacts there. Everything is out of that street line, and there is still room for that landscaping.
Question, and again, this is probably a planning board issue, but how is the fence going to appear? What is it going to be constructed of?
So they're requesting to put up a chain link fence. So the chain link doesn't get, sometimes the vinyl fences when they're facing out where they aren't maintaining on the outside, gets a little dirtier looking. The chain link will just stay the same. And then they're proposing landscaping between the tiers so that the landscaping softens the appearance. You don't see the full height of the retaining wall. You'll see the landscaping, a little bit of the wall than the landscaping, and it's just 2 tiers, but it softens it and breaks it up.
And the landscaping will also help to soften the appearance of the fence, because it'll be in front of the fence.
I did
Yeah.
read the architectural review, they went the other evening, if you want to pass it out amongst yourselves and look at what it will appear with the landscaping, to give you an idea.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there anything else? Is there this, I think?
Mr. Chairman, we have Ron Ryman here. He's our traffic engineer. He's here to talk about traffic impacts and also the parking variance.
Did you require some sort of municipal review of the traffic, did you not?
Yes, it was reviewed. It was reviewed by the by the planning board's traffic consultant, who was accepting of the study that we prepared. Ron can speak to that.
Is ready for my presentation. Ron Riemann, Colliers Engineering Design. We conducted the traffic and parking study. I'll give you a brief overview of the traffic study, and I'll talk a little more specifics on the parking, and welcome any kind of questions.
Before
Yes.
anything, but remember, I want you to address, remember Clavel's point.
Yes, I will. And if I think of anything, feel free to ask me any questions. So in coordination with the village traffic engineer, traffic consultant, we agreed on a scope of study. We provided initially a traffic study based on the proposed operational school. A big positive, this is an existing school that's located in Spring Valley, so we're able to survey that school from a parking and traffic generation impact. So we included in our study. So I'll just get to the conclusion. So the village traffic consultant reviewed our study, and they found that the methodology was acceptable, that the findings were accurate, and they agreed that the project, based on students taking school buses, staff, taking vans, that it would be a low impact generator, and that it wouldn't significantly impact the area roadways.
But he specifically asked you about the turf.
Okay, you want to get right to that?
Please.
Okay.
I'm patient, but that's okay.
You
Go
asked a
ahead.
question about school buses. I asked Rachel if part of the site plan set, if school buses were part of the train tracks. That wasn't conducted. What was conducted as part of the site plan set that was reviewed by the village traffic consultant was sight lines. And that's a very important aspect to make sure when you're entering or exiting the driveways, that you have appropriate sight lines for safety concerns. And based on the site plan and the sight lines provided in the site plan set and review, the traffic consultant agreed that acceptable light sight lines will be at the site, and safe ingress and egress will be at the site, at the proposed school.
The maneuverability that's provided in the plan set was a fire truck.
Right.
I looked back, so we didn't do the maneuverability specifically of the bus, we did the maneuverability for the largest fire truck.
My concern. and
No,
know
I understand, so you wanna know when they leave.
When this bus comes
what the
out,
buses-
a
yeah.
full-length school bus comes out, how does it orient itself northbound on, where is that?
That'd be church. That would be church.
On
On
Church.
Church, which is, in a northbound direction.
maneuverability
How does it
plan-
orient itself without
Yes.
screwing up the works, excuse my language, on this very busy intersection and road?
No, I understand. So the maneuverability plan that's in the plan set shows the fire truck and how that can get out, with minimal impacts. And so usually the fire trucks have been slightly worse than the buses, which is why we haven't been doing both, but if it's necessary, it's something that can be done. But so the fire truck plan is in the plan set.
And I'll just take a step back, and it wasn't required, not that you can't ask for it, wasn't required part of the village traffic consultant review. As Rachel said, you look at the fire plan, and if that works, typically the school bus
I'm
will
looking
work.
at it.
But again, the key is providing adequate sight lines for exiting school buses as well as passenger cars. And based on our analysis from a level service standpoint, that acceptable level service will be at the 2 new driveways onto
To
Church.
be specific, that's a 30-mile in our zone, if I'm correct, right?
I believe so, yes. yes.
Okay, so what is this, how much footage is required for a site plan at 30 miles an hour?
I mean, Rachel could probably look it up on her plan.
All right, how many feet, I don't know if I heard you say, how many feet is the, is that first driveway where you would leave to the intersection?
Rachel could predict that as well.
You know, as that bus turns, will it be able to make a clean turn onto Church Road and exit?
Well, the fire truck is able to do that, so we believe that the school
Well,
bus...
that's not telling me, I don't know the length of the fire
as
truck, I
Rachel
don't
said,
know
we
the
don't
length
mind
of the
that.
school bus.
Yeah.
How many feet you got?
And if I may, while these are all very valid concerns,
Oh, they are.
they are very valid concerns, but they are concerns that will be addressed at the planning board level. They have nothing to do with the variances that we are requesting. Nothing, if we have to make an adjustment to that exit, okay, to avoid a school bus crossing the lane, okay, it would probably involve widening that throat, but it won't affect any of the other variances that we're requesting.
That's right.
Right. And our office could work with Rachel's office if we have to modify the
All right, but you can't answer that question
We
now.
are 50 feet.
For the record, you can't answer
50
it.
feet
Correct.
to the stop bar. 50 feet to the stop bar.
50 feet.
Which is about the length of a school bus.
So you're saying that school bus can navigate out of that without crossing the center line?
We can show you the fire truck.
I mean, I have the study, I mean, I have, you know,
So this is the school bus, or sorry, this is the fire truck.
yeah, I'm looking at that on screen. The same thing you're looking
Okay,
at.
and so this was based on, in Tolman, their biggest fire truck is the 20 tower, that's what we used. And the full length is, oh, that's 27, about
Sorry,
40 feet long for the full length. Which is pretty comparable to the school buses, and as I said in the past, they've been pretty consistent, that if the fire trucks are usually worse than the buses, that's why I've been using the fire trucks to see if they work, because the buses tended to be easier. But so you can see with them in the front, that they would be coming out and through here, that's what we showed, the in, the out, and around.
It just looks like the tip of the fire truck is going over the center line, up at the top.
Yeah, but Ira's right, if this falls in the planning board, it's not belong,
Alright,
it doesn't
I
belong
get what you're
to the
saying.
variance.
It's hard to hear.
I just thought it was important to bring out, Mr. Chairman.
Right, and.
It's a busy road, it's a busy intersection.
And we will commit to you that we will explore that, school buses specifically, when we get back to the planning board, assuming that the
It's one of the
variance is granted.
busiest intersections in that part of the village.
We are aware of that.
Understood, and as was mentioned, I think by yourself and Rachel, you know, that's why it's a four-way stop sign.
It used to be two for
Yeah,
100
it's-
years, and
It's a
somebody's
safer,
wisdom said,
controlled intersection now, yes. Understood. So,
Thank
yeah,
you.
again, I think I'll just jump right to the parking study, because that's where we're looking for the variance. And as Rachel, so initially, we just did a traffic impact study, and as part of the village traffic consultant's review, they asked us to do a parking study. So that was our second study we provided. And as Rachel mentioned, if I got the numbers correctly, based on the higher code, you need 156 parking spaces. Based on the student code, it was about 30. But we had an opportunity to, again, survey the existing school in Spring Valley, and we surveyed it for a 3-day period. A typical weekday, a Thursday in this case, a typical Friday, which when schools let out, you know, pretty much all at once, you know, like midday, as well as we had the opportunity to survey a day where the school had a recital. On all three conditions, I can go into as much detail as you like. On all three conditions, it showed the maximum parking at any time during the survey period, during the school operation hours, be it on Thursday, on Friday, or even when there was a school recital, that you,
yeah, the recital, that's what I'm more interested
Yeah,
in.
you needed a maximum of 21 parking spaces, which is consistent with the lower threshold of the parking.
Tell me about, you know, special events
Yes.
at the school, and, because there is
Yep.
The only parking available is on Smith Hill Road on the other side.
I was hoping this question would come out, and I was gonna throw it in anyway. Just give me a time to everyone digest what I'm saying.
Because there's no parking otherwise.
So the school does a very good job of having a traffic and parking management plan. So they do the recitals once a year, I believe it's once a year, but when they do their recitals, they do it by grade.
Okay.
So that's why it's controlled, and when they have the recital per grade, you don't need parking for the 220 students. It's not like a concert for the whole school. So we did have the opportunity to survey a third grade recital, and during the peak during that day, a maximum of 21 parking spaces were utilized. So the 50 would be more than enough.
Okay. So it will always be done by grade, and are there other special events at
As far as I
the
understand,
school during the year that,
As far as I understand, no, it's just the
Okay.
recitals during the school.
all right.
A couple of other things. As you know, we submitted a narrative that went through each of the 5 questions.
Yes.
But I just want to point a couple of things out with respect to parking especially, because I know that parking is something that's an issue and a concern. And part of the problem is with your code, quite frankly. When it requires parking to be calculated based upon the floor area of the building.
Right.
Okay, you come up with a number, and in this case, if you compare that number that you come up with based upon floor area to the number of students that are anticipated, you wind up with with 1 parking space for every 2 students. Okay, that's a little crazy. Okay, in addition, if we actually put them all in, okay, we would wind up with development coverage of 91.3%. or perhaps even higher. Basically, the entire parcel would have to be paved in order to accommodate those parking spaces. Okay? Nobody wants that. As a matter of fact, at our last appearance before the planning board, okay, when Ms. Maurice presented and said we found 5 more parking spaces, the chairman actually said, I wish you'd go back and get rid of those 5 parking spaces. We think that we should have them. We may land bank some of them based upon further discussions with the planning board, but we think that 50 is the right number, certainly for purposes of getting the variance or seeking the variance, and for purposes of planning. If we land bank some of them, at least they'll be able to be activated very quickly if necessary.
Well, you know, the zoning code, I realize, you know, doesn't take into account that these young people will not be taking a vehicle to the school. So the board has accommodated
Right.
applications, you know, that, you know, where parking required institutions, and I quite understand that.
And along the same lines, as Ms. Maurice mentioned, the development coverage standard. The development coverage standard for a school in this zone and in most of your residential zones is exactly the same as the development coverage standard for a single-family house. And if you think about the differences, okay, it doesn't make much sense. A single-family house doesn't have a parking lot, okay, doesn't need sidewalks, okay, doesn't need a lot of things that an institutional facility such as a school would need. And so, between those 2 standards, it's virtually guaranteed that a school will have to come in to this board to seek variances.
We're done?
I think we're done for now, unless the board has more questions of us.
And
No school bus parking? Let's get the public going.
that's done.
Sure.
So anyway, I'd like to open the public hearing.
Is that your motion, sir?
Yes.
I'll second it.
Uh,
All in favor? Aye.
I'm first on the list.
You do have to wait till Suzanne calls. But in this case,
Just
we'll
to
make it
remind you, you
acceptable.
have 3 minutes. I'll time you when the alarm goes off, you have to stop.
It's gonna go on for an hour.
We have 30 people on the list.
And we'd appreciate it if everybody would try to, maybe a little less, maybe a little,
You
my
have to speak
microphone's
into,
off.
are your microphones on?
I got a green light, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, mine's working.
Anyway, I'd appreciate it if we could like try and keep it,
I have a written statement, so
Good,
I'm gonna
please.
keep quick.
please, go ahead.
May I proceed?
Please.
My name is Clifford Davis, 44 Church Street, White Plains, New York. I'm counsel for the Bells at 57 Church Road, the Trankers at 53 Church Road, and the Barkas at 50 Church Road. This submission is in opposition to the variances sought. The application seeks a 170% variance for development coverage, and that must be denied by this board. As this board well knows, this board has to go through a 5-part balancing test. The applicant's lot is 96,206 square feet. The village's zoning code, this is not a piece of paper that can be ignored, limits the development coverage to 20% of the lot. 20% of 96,206 square feet is 19,241 square feet. Development coverage is defined in the code at section 210-174. It's as follows: the percentage of the area of a lot covered by buildings, parking areas, accessory structures, and impervious materials, including natural impervious areas and non-vegetative pervious materials. Yet applicant's counsel wants this board to, in his words, to apply a safety valve and permit development coverage of 54%. Let's analyze what that means. 54% of 96,200 square feet is 51,951 square feet. In other words, the code limits development to 19,241 square feet, yet this applicant wants an additional 32,710 square feet over what is permitted. That is a 170% variance. I submit to this board that this board doesn't grant too many 170% variances. To do so would make a mockery of the zoning code and would be a rewrite of the village code. It would set a terrible precedent for any developer of a school to build out the entirety of a lot and seek similar 170% variances. Granting such a variance would ring awful to the village for years to come. Mr. Emanuel's claim that the code is terrible is a matter not for this board, but for the village board. If he wants to change the zoning code, he should make an application to change the zoning code consistent with the comprehensive plan. This board is unelected and does not have that power. This board is not the village board. It is clear from the code that the village board wanted smaller buildings in the R35 district, emphasizing open space. The applicant seeks to build that which is too large and not consistent with the layout of the community. The answer is simple. The applicant needs to seek a larger parcel and not build at 51 Church Road. Now let's go through the factors. 1, it's a self-created hardship. The cases are legion, as this board knows, that a buyer purchased a property. May I continue?
No, you may not, because otherwise.
Okay, I'm
maybe
going to
you'll-
have one of my clients continue to read the letter.
Please.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
Let him read it.
we're gonna have to have a longer
Okay.
conversation about this at some other time,
Good.
but I think if an attorney represents multiple people,
Good, okay, so go ahead.
I'll be done shortly.
Please.
Thank you very much, counsel. Okay, so let's go through it. Number 1, it's a self-created hardship. And remember, in order for this board not to act arbitrarily and capriciously, it has to go through the 5-part balancing test. And so that's what we're going to do. It's a self-created hardship. The cases are legion, and I will present this to you after I read it, that when a buyer purchases a property subject to the zoning in place, it's a self-created hardship. Yet the applicant just blames, in Mr. Emanuel's word, that there are owner's zoning code requirements. The code applies to all developers. The developer,
can I
yeah.
interrupt you for a second? Are you aware of the fact that, with regard to that factor, that if it exists,
It's not fatal. Yeah, of course. The board knows
Make a
that
clean
that
record.
factor in and of itself is not fatal. But I'm going to move on, okay? There's nothing I can hide from this board.
No.
Thank you, counsel.
I just
I got
want
it.
an accurate record.
Not a problem. It's not fatal in and of itself, as if it was a use variance, which would be fatal. Okay, the next, I'm going to combine 2 elements, and that is there will be an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood, and it will create an adverse impact to the surrounding neighborhood in the district. Nobody is against schools. The zoning code permits schools, but subject to regulations. But the village code already addresses how large these schools can be, and the board, the village board, the board that the people elected, determined the limit consistent with the community was 20%. To request this board to increase the development coverage to 54% and provide an additional 32,710 square feet, it's just unspeakable. The applicant just states in the narrative that it can mitigate these adverse impacts, but the applicant doesn't state how they're going to mitigate it. To permit this structure is not consistent with the large size lots in the district and the code which preserves open space. So I've now addressed 3 of the factors. The 4th area is the requested variance as the development coverage, of course, is substantial. It is incredible that applicant's counsel cannot concede this point. He doesn't say that it's substantial. If a 170% variance as to development coverage is not substantial, then no variance sought can ever be substantial. And finally, the benefit requested from the variance can be sought by something other than a variance. The applicant should seek a property that is much larger to build its school, as opposed to squeezing the large development coverage into an undersized property. Council argues, without evidence, that it cannot build such a school economically, that a smaller school is, quote, financially unsustainable. There's no evidence. There's no evidence on this point. And it is not this job, the board of this job, on an area variance application to determine what is financially sustainable. You guys have enough on your plate. You can't do that. Those are issues that the school should have analyzed when it purchased an improper parcel to develop, knowing that the village board required open spaces and for schools not to overwhelm lots with development coverage. I further remind this board that this board, under the village code, is required to only grant the minimum variance that is necessary to preserve and protect the character of the neighborhood and the health, safety, and welfare of the community. Those words are in the village statute. Certainly, the vast variance of 170% for development coverage cannot be granted. The 73% parking space variance must be denied. As to parking, the code requires 186 spaces, and the applicant is only willing to provide 50. That is extraordinary. The applicant seeks a 73% variance, complaining that if it put in additional parking spaces in, it would increase the development coverage further. This is further evidence that the applicant chose the wrong parcel to develop the school. Now, if this board disagrees with me, this board, pursuant to the village code, has the right to impose conditions. Mr. Cadell raised the issue about that there is, how many special events are there? There are 375 students. If there are 375 students and 375 pairs of parents, and they come in for a recital, that's an awful lot of parking. So, if this board somehow wants to grant this variance, then it should impose a condition, as Mr. Cavell had stated, that they agree there's no weddings, there's no bar mitzvahs, there's no other special events, there's only this one recital. And this board has the power to do that, if they really mean it. Or unless they're really saying is, just give it to us and trust us. Well, we won't know what happens when you just trust people.
When we give that,
Excuse me?
when we give that, developmental coverage goes away automatically?
No,
When we
you
ask
could-
for that,
You could say, we're gonna give you 50 parking spaces. However, no, the maximum development coverage, that's a separate issue.
I thought when we ask for that, the other issue falls away.
Oh, absolutely not. That's completely separate. What they're saying is if we have to have 186 spots, we need more than the extra 32,000 square feet.
You're also saying that he requires evidence of financial hardship?
No, that's what,
Well, that's what you were
that's what
saying.
council is saying. But
No.
Council says
You
he
said
has a financial
we have
hardship.
financial hardship, and according to your narrative, you're saying that he requires evidence of financial
No,
hardship,
no.
which he
What
does
I'm-
not.
What I'm saying is, it's not in the 5-part test. Unlike in a use variance, there is no financial hardship required. But what I'm saying is, he says there's financial hardship, and then he doesn't put any evidence in of it. But you don't have to look at that at all. Finally,
I go beyond that. They can't look at it.
Right.
It's a
As
private.
as council has stated, you can't look at
That's what I
financial
just-
hardship.
that's what I
So
just
if
said.
they want to build, when they did their internal accounting, they should have analyzed the size of the property. Let me finish, Mr. Chairman. The 75.4% variance as to the front yard must be denied. Just as with development coverage, the village board determined that a 50 feet front yard was appropriate for schools in the R35 district to promote open space. Yet again, because the applicant chose an undersized and non-compliant parcel, it seeks a variance of 75.4% from this board. The front yard requirement is intertwined with the 50 feet yard setback, and that if there is only a front yard of 12.3 feet, that means that there is so much less of a front yard. To grant this extraordinary variance sought here would not be consistent with the code and the village board's determinations as to open space consistent with protecting the community. In conclusion, the development coverage, the parking, and the front yard variances are all extraordinary requests, and they should be denied. Thank you. I'll hand to the clerk.
I'm just gonna mention one thing. Dan, our village attorney, had mentioned that it would be the appropriate thing to do to allow council, the representing people, and you'd mentioned that you would concede some of your time. So all I just want to mention is that you spoke way over the 3 minutes, and I think everybody else should either take that in consideration.
Sure.
We don't want to be redundant, obviously, so I don't want to cut.
No, I'm not.
Can I speak to that point?
Yes, sir.
If the 3 people that he represented got up instead of him, they would have used more time than what he just.
Very well, now we're wasting time.
No worries at all. It sounds like you.
I didn't know.
Who's next?
Yes, the chairman, that's not me.
Who's next?
Closer to Parkinson's property, so I can make an announcement.
Notice the truck.
Yeah.
Who's next? Let's do it.
Suzanne, who's next?
What do you need?
Who's next?
I have another car. It's right now.
There's a car that's parked incorrectly, and we need to remove it. Do you wanna say the license plate?
Larry Charles, 7277, it's a black Honda sedan.
You have to move your car. Thank you. The board members. Do you want to continue, Ms.
Yeah.
Rowe? Without-
Yeah, let's continue. Otherwise, as it is, we'll be here all night.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to address you. My name is Teresa O'Leary Bell. I live at 57 Church Road. Just not to be redundant, I just want to reiterate the point that this really is an oversized facility on an inappropriately small lot. It's really a significant overbuild, as you heard. It's going to dramatically alter the fabric of our neighborhood by introducing something that's high occupancy, introducing high traffic where only single-family homes currently exist. And it's completely out of the character of what is currently there. The footprint and design are not harmonious with the residential architecture of the neighborhood, and there's no plan for the sufficient setbacks or buffers to reduce visual and auditory intrusion into our adjacent properties. There were a lot of things covered tonight, but what was not covered is what is going to happen on the south side of the property, where myself and the Petrankers are adjacent, so we have not talked about fencing, coverage, or anything like that. So I would like to hear more about that. I appreciate the concern that was raised about the buses and how they turn out of the driveway, because I too agree there's probably not enough room without turning into the oncoming lane. You've heard me speak about this at the planning board. That is an exceptionally dangerous corner. My own child's school bus was T-boned at that corner, so I'm extremely concerned about what happens there, especially as we have buses. I would reiterate again, the scale and intensity of the proposed school development are really incompatible with the size of that 2-acre lot. and wholly inconsistent with I-35 zoning and the residential surrounding community. So I strongly urge the zoning board to deny these variance requests. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for giving me a few moments to speak. My property's over
Sir,
here.
can you state for the record your name and address?
My name is Stefan Petranka.
And your address?
I live at 53 Church Road, which is directly abutting the property in question.
Thank you.
I'd like to point that out to you on the site map. My property is over here at 53 Church Road.
Okay.
I'd like to speak to the character of the neighborhood. When I moved in here from the city, I moved into a wooded lot next to me. I moved into a community that was quiet and reserved and respectful of each other's property lines, as well as religious beliefs, as well as just being overall a family location. Now things are dramatically changed. The forest will be knocked down, will be clear cut. There'll be no more buffer between my property and the proposed school. They're talking about an 11-foot fence. This is not what I moved out of the city for. In terms of degrading the quality of the environment that brought me to the community to begin with, it's rendered asunder by such a plan to overdevelop a piece of property. It's a footprint that's bigger than the shoe that it's supposed to go into. I don't understand how the applicant can come before you and say, oh, the property is small, so you know what, I'll limit the parking spaces, and we're gonna come in at about a third of what's really required for it. Oh, the property doesn't have the grade that we like, so we're gonna go ahead and build it up, flatten it out, which is gonna cause drainage problems on my property as well, and so forth. It just has taken the fabric of what brought me and my family, my wife here, and it's completely changed that. Having buses coming in, coming out, busy street, you already heard about that all, is atrocious. And it will take my quiet neighborhood and turn it into a busy thoroughfare. I hope that you take that into consideration when you try to lead your way through in granting these egregiously large variances, which is beyond a variance, it's a change in code. So thank you, I appreciate your attention.
Good evening, my name is Juliana Petranker. Stefan is my husband. We actually built the house 25 years ago in that location, and we moved in because of the community and because of what the community had to offer. The greenery, the quietness, and so on and so forth. I am all for education, especially for females. Nothing against the school. However, the school has to fit the community. You don't make the community to fit the school. It can be a school in a smaller building, so that way when I sit in my oasis or backyard, I don't have to look at the cement box across the property. I understand that we have to be sensitive, but I hope you have some compassion for the neighbors that are in that area and are affected directly. Thank you very much.
Before we proceed, you can, please, I've heard your comments. I'd like to make a comment in general in the situation that might cut down the amount of time spent tonight. The Court of Appeals has held the presumptive value of religious facilities must be balanced against any actual detriment to the public health, safety, or welfare, bearing in mind that typical hazards of traffic congestion, noise, diminution of property values, and the like are generally insufficient to outweigh the public benefit of religious institutions and the constitutional protections to which such institutions are entitled. Please bear that in mind when you continue.
Okay, John Barker.
John Barker, 50 Church Road. I'm directly across between that oval loop there, between the driveways. I'm just basically going to reiterate exactly what Mr. Davis is also representing myself, my wife. I'm just going to reiterate everything what Juliana, Stefan, and Teresa said. I'm against all the variances. This is third generation in my house. Okay, my son's the third generation. This is destroying this neighborhood. This is turning it into an urban zone. And I heard fire trucks being mentioned by the buses and stuff. And coming out of that corner right there, a fire truck can do whatever he wants, let's face it. When you put a bus coming out of that driveway, he will cross the center line. I mean, that's just a reality. We all live with that every day. So that's just something that I'm taking into consideration as well. I'm a no vote for everything for this project. Thank you.
Josephine Barker?
Yes.
I'm going to yield my time.
Yes, she's on the
Okay.
phone.
John Barker Jr.,
He's on the
same?
phone.
Okay. Suzanne Rodriguez?
Hi, Suzanne Rodriguez, 43 Church Road. One of the things when you're talking about, with the buses, it's all mentioned about turning north on Church. Is there anything that's going to restrict buses from making a left and heading south on Church, or from heading south on Church, making a left across Church into the school? Because that's going to be a major traffic issue.
Oh, I see.
Okay. And the other concerns are just about the amount of space that's being used by building, by pavement. I sat through the architectural review meeting the other night, and the trees, they're deciduous trees. So they're gonna look all fine and nice in the spring, summer, into the fall, but winter, and as the leaves are falling, you're gonna see the building. It's going to dramatically change the character of this neighborhood. I've been living here for 20 years already, and I've seen a lot of changes, and this one is just going to be tipping the scales over. And if you approve the development, the percentage of development, you're opening up the floodgates for everything, and it's just going to become a free-for-all. Thank you.
Okay, Heim first.
Hi, Chaim First. I live at 22 Ackman Avenue off Church Road. I'm here in support of this project, to support this great school that my kids and children are, and I'm hoping to help them grow and have a place close to their parents.
I have another Petrenka, another J. Petrenka must have
It is
signed.
on, my husband signed me.
Oh,
twice.
okay.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. The last name is Jendryua at 11 Feller. No, not speaking, okay. Rivka Gross, one still up.
Hello, thank you for the opportunity for making my voice heard. I'd first like to address Chairman Zaffer's remarks. The fact that we're allowing schools in the neighborhood is already clear with the 210-16B Airman zoning code. No one is against schools. We all have children, we send them to schools, but no one is for breaking the rules in such an absurd manner. I am a Muncie resident from way back. I have lived there all my life. My parents live on Esterlin, that's where I grew up. When I was in about 6th grade, there was a meeting a lot like this one to allow the building of OL Torah, which is off College Road. And a lot of emotion was used at the meeting about public sentiment and allowing schools in neighborhoods, and we all need schools and we all love schools, and OL Torah was built. Within 1/2 mile radius of my parents' house, there is now Torah Samechu, Kalu Chavetz Chaim, Be'Tzakav of Kimon, and Kinyan OL Torah. Torah Sefraim, YSB, Bais Shab, Yeshivas, Bais Balimi, Yeshivas Chavetz Chaim, Yosef. There are over a dozen schools. We are not against schools. We are okay with schools. We are against breaking the rules. We would love for these children to have a wonderful school to go to. They need a bigger property. So it is exceptionally short-sighted to say, sure, let's be nice neighbors and build a school here because this is opening the dam. If we allow them to build on 250%, they're allowed to build on 20% and they want to build on 54, we have to allow every school because we can't be nice to one school, not nice to another school. What is stopping this from happening on every 1 acre property? There are loads of 1 acre properties in the neighborhood. You have to follow the rules. We love schools, but we love the rules and they're here for a reason. So they can have their school, but they can have it along the lines that are already drawn.
Samuel now.
Hi, my name is Samuel Novi. I live at 101 Smith Hill Road. It's not enough that the school wants to come next to me, but they want to block me all the way around. I will not have any view to the street, which is very important for me. I should be able to see the kids coming and going to a very busy road. And if a car comes up, I wouldn't be able to see. So this could be very dangerous, and plus it will take away the quality of life and degrade my property. I kindly asked several times to move up the playground. It shouldn't block me. But I didn't get any positive response. Plus we had 2 planning board meetings where we raised this issue and nothing was done. And how is this 11.5 retaining wall, 11.5 foot retaining wall going to look like us with it? This variance should not be given until this matter is solved. It is very disturbing what is going on. This coming in front of somebody and blocking him all the way. This is what they want to teach their students? It makes me wonder where this is being proposed. Is this an area where only single-family houses are allowed? And how would you feel to have this in your front yard? Thank you.
So, what was your address again? What was your address?
What?
Your address.
101 Smith.
101, thank you.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
It's fully wooded right now.
Patel, Mia, 101.
Hi, good evening. I'm Vital Novi. I live on 101 Smith Hill Road. That was my husband that just spoke. This is the 3rd meeting that we're here tonight. Not one voice was heard. Nothing was done. No changes were made. This is against the law. Why are we here? For a joke? This is jeopardizing our safety for our kids. I have children coming and going in this driveway, cars coming up. I will not see anything. This is jeopardizing our life, quality of life. This is jeopardizing the value of my home. What's my home going to look like? This is what Earmont wants? You take someone and you squeeze them all the way? I want to know this should be done to them, how they would react and how they would feel. If this gets approved in Earmont, I want everything to get changed, all the zonings. I want to be able to build on my lot 20 or more apartments. And if that gets approved, I want it signed today. I want the zoning to change. Once you approve this, on every single block in Earmont, there will be another school and yeshiva. And you know that yeshiva gave in an application. And you know that that's on the side of me. And if this is here, if this is going to get approved today, tomorrow it's by you. Another point I want to bring out, when Village of Earmont allows 2 acres to build the land, they did not mean such an L-shaped land. Basically, they are building on 1 acre. They're not building on 2. The building is being done on 1. This is totally unfair. They're going cheap on my back. I don't agree that they should get these variants. Build a school. I'm for the school. Make the amount of that you could, that it's allowed the law. Also, we offered them a few times, move out the playground, or don't make a playground at all. Let it be preserved, and I'll have my view and Shalom Yisrael and have the building. I urge the board members to be considerate and not to grant these variants. If you do approve this, this will happen to you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
CCIN?
Good evening, Chairman, board members, all participants. My name is David Sim, CCIM. I live in Brooklyn 35
I can't hear you.
Brooklyn, New York. These are my
Brooklyn.
children. I just spoke. Kenobi's.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
I
yes.
identify.
I
Go
can
ahead.
agree with that. But it took a long time till my children from Brooklyn were able to gather the money to come and buy a house because they were crushed in Brooklyn. And this is just 2 years goes by, and this is what's happening now. We are not against schools, yeshivas, synagogues. I'm here to respectfully urge you not to grant these variances under the town laws, but all the codes, the 267-B and the village laws 7-712. The board must consider 5 legal factors in this case: request, bills, serval accounts. I'm not going to go over all these arguments. We had counsels and
Sorry,
lawyers.
that was the other. Okay.
When I'm here to say the school is made to teach children and to learn the laws of God and religious, we have our holy sages say that we should pray for the wealth and health from the government. Why do you need to do that? Because without a government, without laws, abiding laws, one will eat up the other one, will swallow it. This is what we're here for. We're here with you members from all these zoning or planning or whatever. You should please consider somebody should not eat up somebody else's properties or safety. I have my little children, very tiny ones, and they're becoming bigger. I watch them. I come out to my children. They go down into the hill, and the only way they can see through is through the backyard, which is going to be the school backyard. It's their front space. This is how it happened. This lot. It's 101 Smith Hill Road. The back of this building is going to be their face, but if they're going to knock down all the trees and build up a fence from 11.5 feet, that means there won't be any security that the parents will be able to see when the buses come, how the children come up. Besides the fact there's no sidewalks here, this is Irma, it's not New York, and there's hundreds of children going to be coming up and down. Even there's buses, there's a lot of parents don't send the buses. And then I hear arguments about you need so much parking, this much parking. There's going to be a lot of affairs going on, not bar mitzvahs, maybe bas mitzvahs, but there is graduations, preschools, there is first grade graduations, 8th grades, 12th grades,
Excuse
and
me, your
there's...
time is up.
Oh, thank you, I'm sorry. So I just ask you not to allow these variances.
My name is Shlomo Mars, I live on 29 Smithville.
Thank you. Take the microphone.
My name is Shlomo Mars, I live on 29 Smithville, and I fully support the school. I hope you guys get the variances tonight. Thank you.
Levy Galber.
Hi, my name is Levi Gelber. I live in 4 Gola Drive in Monsey, borderline Neman. I'm actually one of the board members in the school. I just want to point out that, first of all, I personally moved from Brooklyn, and so did many of the parents from the school. We all value the quality of the life here in Rockland County, and we're all not for over-construction, overbuilding. In fact, we paid a lot of attention, I'm involved personally in the project, we paid a lot of sensitivity and attention on the uniform of the shape of the school. We specifically did not build it up 3 stories and a smaller building just to pay sensitivity to the area, and the same as with the landscaping, and I ask you to approve this project. Thank you.
Joseph Frass? I'm sorry, Frass, excuse me.
Hi, my name is Yossi Kraus. I live on 17 Lillian Drive in Spring Valley, but I'm a board member here in the school. I would like to start first, thank you for the opportunity for being able to present the project. I want to come as someone, it sounds like it's an organization against the people over here. I want to share a little bit that before we started out the project, I was meeting individually almost with all the neighbors that are living over there in the area, personally, to sit with them to see what we can do, how we can do it, before even we went into planning board or anything, just before we started out, to make sure what are your needs, what is it that you can do. We had one item meeting with certain, I think, 5-6 people that can recognize me. Yeah.
But your numbers were not correct, so the numbers that you gave were not correct.
See, I don't want to use up my time right now. And we were sitting with everybody and heard all the concerns. The main concern was that it's going to be an overshadowing building, that it's going to be so right then and there we reduced the building to only 2 floors. That it shouldn't be overshadowing anything. And specific to one family that we actually met personally, which was the Nova family, that I went over there, and we really had meaningful and deep conversations about the project to see what we can do for them, how we can help them, how we can make sure that it shouldn't be. They did buy a flagged land property, which they knew that this is not their property in front of them. They knew when they bought it. And we did speak a lot about how we can help them. At that time and point, we told them that they said that they want to see the driveway, as you mentioned before, you couldn't see his kids. We told them right then, we'll give you 10 feet of our property, which we don't need to give them 10 feet at all, but we will do a retaining wall 10 feet in. So his driveway is going to be 10 feet wide. Then on the day of the planning board, he came and he started asking that he wants like a triangle view, that it should be able to see down the streets for its kids, that this is not enough. It's impossible. It's like giving up 40 feet. We offered him then that if you want to see your kids, we'll install cameras and to be able to see your kids. But he declined the cameras. He didn't want to see it. As well, there was a lot of conversation about the looks of the building, the landscaping, the neighborhood, the area. We all live in the area. 80% of our parents live in the area. Everybody knows how this area wants to be constructed and wants to have a nice looking area. We're investing tremendous plans in landscaping and greenery around the properties. We've proposed it all over here. We hear the buffer zones. I actually went out late at night with her on the property to see the buffer zone. We made sure we're going to do big trees. We're going to do
Time's up.
All right.
You represent the board.
I represent the board.
That's up to the
Same as
chairman.
attorney.
No, I'm sorry. It's just too many people.
There's no.
Okay, you know something? I granted.
I have a student council.
Okay, you know something?
There's no student.
Whoa. Time out. You know something? We granted one exception. The other council will grant you. Keep it short.
Sure, I'll keep it short. Additionally, I want to point out that we met the people who live there. We are also families who live there, as well as we mentioned when we went out with the plan for the fire department. We made even the Tolman Fire Department send us a letter, even if we don't need to, that the truck should be able to go all around, that it shouldn't have to, we don't need to for this height of requirement. We're here as a board of people, with people, we deal with people, and we're here for the people. We try to meet everybody in person. We really are satisfying everybody individually on this property before coming here, trying. We met them, Whatever they were asking, we were giving them nice amounts. We're giving up 10 feet from our properties. We were able to provide them. They were requesting lights. They don't want large blue lights that it should be. In our lighting plan, we let know for the designer there should not be blue lights. They have my numbers in text. They could have texted me if there's any issues. We were spoken before. I didn't get anything. So I really would like that this project should move forward. We're here for our community, which 80% is here, and we're here with people, working with people. It's going to be a nice, beautiful landscaping area and greeneries, and it's going to look amazing. Thank you.
Searson? No? Yes, okay. Thank you, I couldn't see with the wall.
Hi, good evening. My name is Mrs. Sin. I'm the grandmother from the Novies, mommy and grandmother, the Novies that live at 101 Smithfield. I really appreciate this opportunity to come here and to talk about what's going on here. Okay, the first thing that I want to mention is that we, as grandparents and as parents, watch very closely the way our children penny pinched and bought this property. They bought a property in a residential area that's beautiful. We are not against schools. We know that this is a growing, beautiful school, and let them grow and let them, you know, if they're a growing school, they need a big building and they need a big property to erect that building. And they're coming into a place where they are actually boxing in. He says, the one that was here before, that he came over and he spoke to them. Yes, he did speak to them. But you know what? He didn't come to terms. And what he said he will do, it's not on paper. So we have to really understand that, you know, a school comes into your neighborhood and you really want to see this neighborhood growing with the schools that it needs, but it also needs the right property, okay? So this is basically what I want to say. And also there's one very important point. It's my children, it's my grandchildren, they're in danger. They're in danger the way this property is being erected on such a small acreage, or whatever you said. And even though you have a beautiful plan over there, which seems terrific, my children are in danger. And I want the community to know about that and take it into consideration. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I appreciate it.
Susan?
Hi, my name is Joel Flynn. I live in 112 Grove in Muncie.
How far is that from the school?
Half a mile. So I'm here for my brother-in-law, Mr. Novi. And these laws that is under the town law and the village law were discussed here. I just want to discuss the options why you have the variance. They want to have variance, or why you should deny the variance. Number one, it will dramatically change neighborhood character and reduce property values, including those of the Novies. Other options exist for the applicant to achieve the goals within the zoning limits. Number three, the requested variance is substantial and not a minor exception. Number four, approval will directly harm neighboring homes, their safety and their privacy. And the main thing, the hardship is self-created. The zoning laws were clear when the property was bought. The applicant claims the issue stems from the zoning requirements of parcels attributes, as the lawyers said earlier. But they were well aware of these restrictions at the time of the purchase. And also, you can take a look at the EAF mapper summary report. It really looks like a Pac-Man eating up all the little dots. This project will literally eat up the surrounding lots. Granting this variance will set a poor precedent, weaken the zoning integrity, and hurt our community. I respectfully ask the board to deny the request. Thank you.
Ricky Brody?
members of the board and everybody else here. I am Ricky Brody. I live at 34 Ackerman Avenue. I am a parent at Panosvina Girls School and I'm an Earmont resident. I am here to present this letter on behalf of the rest of the school parents. I won't be taking their time, however, so I'll keep it short. We are respectfully requesting your approval for this project, which will serve our community and address critical needs for our children. Our daughters currently endure bus rides of over an hour to attend school, often in overcrowded district buses that have been already involved in multiple road accidents. These long commutes are not just inconvenient, they're unsafe and they're exhausting for our children. A local school would drastically reduce travel time, keeping our children closer to our home and safer. This school will operate Monday through Friday with minimal impact on weekends. 90% of our staff don't drive, so there will be no additional traffic from employees. By eliminating the need for the buses to travel to Spring Valley to drop off our students, we will reduce the overall traffic in Earmont. The buses are already all coming into the neighborhood to pick up our kids. Approving the school would mean fewer buses on the road, not more, easing congestion and enhancing safety. Regarding the concerns for accidents in the area, we share your commitment to safety and fully support designating the area around the school as a 15 miles per hour school zone. This would protect our children, slow down traffic, and ensure the safety of everyone in the community. This school is about giving our daughters a safe local place to learn and grow. It's about reducing traffic, improving safety, and strengthening Earmont. I urge you to approve this project for the benefit of our children and our community. Thank you so much for your time.
Rachel Siminovitz. Rachel Siminovitz.
My name is Rachel Siminovitz. I live on Fan Roster Drive.
Can you take the, thank you.
I was sent to the school, and regarding the recital that they're talking about, I just want to say I just had one. The school now has 15 parking spots, maybe, and I've never had an issue finding parking in the school now. So they really do a good job about like spacing it out. Not everybody should come at one time.
Sender Glock.
Hi, my name is Sender Glock. I live at 24 Madison Hill around the corner. I would love this.
How far is that from the school?
I would say
It's a half a mile.
1 minute drive, half a minute drive. I passed
That's
that.
an error on my part, sorry.
Oh, wait.
I started talking.
I pass that intersection probably 20 times a day. I would love, that's the perfect space where my daughter should be in that school. There's no better place in Earmont where it should be, so I strongly support the school and ask the board to grant the variance. Thank you.
Alex Katz.
Good evening, board members. My name is Alex Katz. I live on 27 Montclair Avenue. Alexander Katz, 27 Montclair Avenue. It's right around the corner from the proposed site. There's about 85 to 90% of our parents of our school that sends to the school live currently in Earmont area. Right now, they have to travel more than an hour on buses, overheated buses by the district, not private buses. No, district buses. My kids get. You should look at them when they come home. 27 Montclair. In regard to the busing, as Brody said, it will only minimize the traffic, not bring up the traffic. We have a traffic study that I heard we have. So I strongly support it. Regarding the property, people opposing the property because of the school. If it would have been a school for 100 students, it would still be a playground, it will still be paved out, straightened out, and they will come out against it either way. Other option would be subdividing a 3 parcels, which would be 3/4 of an acre per parcel, which is as per code, and Mr. Nolan's property would be blocked off by a tall house, not by a ground, by a tall house, 2 floors, 2.5 floors, 30 feet. So I strongly urge the board to please approve it. As I said, most of our parents live over here in Irmont. There's no reason we should travel an hour and a half. I would say the only school, the school that the most people in Irmont send to is Benoist Bina Girls' School. Thank you so much.
Amy Freed.
Good evening. Good evening. I stand before you tonight hoping to bring another viewpoint to this debate. I'm a parent of a child in the school, and I absolutely want the school to be built. I am actually here to share with you what it is like growing up within 7-minute walking distance to 3 schools. I will first start by saying that in the late 70s and early 80s, there was an elementary school down our block that was slated to be shut down. My grandfather, along with others, fought tooth and nail to have the school remain open. He kept on fighting with the town that our children are the future, and they will need the school. Not too far in the future, his words rang true. Thousands of kids have gone through those school doors, me included. I continued through the public school system from 4th grade to 12th grade. I ended up in each of those schools. I will now explain a couple of differences between the school we are discussing tonight versus the ones I went to. First, there'll be a fraction of the traffic. The students here have buses. Where I went, it was cars. All cars, dozens and dozens daily, in the morning and the afternoon. Second, there won't be Friday night games, Saturday night games, Sunday night games. There won't be a lot of this hubbub because we don't have sports, we don't have any of that type of stuff. There's nothing like, and to show the point, there's nothing like waking up at midnight, 1 a.m. to loudspeakers, glaring lights, making their ways into your home from the middle school 2 blocks away. This is not what our school is about. But I'll tell you, there's one glaring similarity. This school and the ones I grew up near and went to is the busy roads. In the almost 50 years my grandfather had owned his house, in which I lived for about 20, no child was killed, nothing happened. I don't even remember car accidents in those areas, and we lived on a very, very busy road, not unsimilar to the one that we're discussing now. For the residents to even say things, because in the planning board someone said that children will be killed, so to put that out there is a fear tactic and baseless. I know we are all creatures of habit, but change is going to happen, and we should embrace it because so much good comes from it. There is nothing like being on the receiving end of when a kid says hi to you because you're by the mailbox. And I know a lot of the girls, and they're like that. And there's nothing more amazing than from watching kids grow from tots to teens. As I walk to and from school daily, yes, in sleet, snow, and heat waves, to the elementary school, middle school, and high school, I said good morning to the people I walked by, and to this day I still remember some of their faces 30 years later. I would love my daughter to remember the faces of those neighbors she saw 30 years from now, or that she should remember. As my grandfather, a Holocaust survivor, knew, our children are our future.
Rin, 20 Edgebrook.
Good evening, Chair and board members. My name is Simcha Tzin, 20 Edgewick Lane in Irmont. I'm here to respectfully urge you not to grant these variances.
Where do you live?
Town law, 20 Edgebrook, Irmont.
How far is that from the school?
How far is it? Walking? I walk a lot there. It's like 12 minutes walk. It's a 5-minute drive.
You said Edgebrook?
Yes. I'm here to respectfully urge you not to grant this variance. Under the town law, 267B, the board must evaluate 5 legal factors. If this application fails on several, it would change the character of the neighborhood and negatively impact neighboring properties, including my sister, the Novis. The applicant has reasonable alternatives to meet their goals without violating zoning laws or needing variances. These variances are requested are substantial, not minor, because of diverse impacts to the other neighboring properties, home values, privacy, and safety. And finally, the hardship also is self-created. They bought a small lot, knowing that. Some have asked me why I'm here today. it's anyways going through. I trust this board. They'll do the right thing to protect our zoning and our laws in our community. That said, if the applicants are willing to directly address and resolve issues, there might be a path of compromise. But so far, they haven't done anything significant, and it's coming up a big school against them. It should be something given from the applicant also. I'd also like to respond to the comment that parents made that they travel an hour. It's actually 40 minutes, their current school, from their proposed school. Finally, to the council that keeps on citing the planning board meetings that a school should be allowed on 2 acres, that's without variances. And not when it impacts the community, Bunsby Wade in this case. This is serious. Granting this variance would set an interest precedent and harm to the neighborhood. I respectfully urge the board members to deny it. Thank you.
I don't know if they can hear you.
I live on 3 Golden Place in Suffern. My kids go to Messina and Fort Smith.
You speak up, please.
I'm just appearing from the school and I'm for this project.
Okay, thank you.
Abraham Schwartz.
I'm Abraham Schwartz. I live on 14 Amanda, which is around the corner. I want to talk about both the variance and the quality of life. So everyone understands that having safe schools is important. That's why schools are built on many acreage. You don't build a school on 2 acres. And you're going to see any school in the area in Emerald that otherwise is built on 5-10 acres. Everyone that moved to the area, families like myself and others, know that they're going to be traveling to schools. That's part of the struggle of living in a quiet, enjoying a quiet neighborhood. Building a school on such a small lot will negatively impact quality of life for all of us. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rachel Schwartz. I live on 14 Amanda Court, which is around the corner of the school's property. I have a question to people that are saying that 80% of the people that sent to the school are residents of Earmont. I visit the supermarket several times a week, yet I haven't thought of opening the supermarket in the middle of Earmont, because I live in an area where I want it to be far from supermarkets and any schools and other commercial areas. In addition to that, there was school buses were being discussed, and there were fire trucks being discussed. We haven't talked about the commercial traffic from food delivery trucks and a bunch of other commercial trailers that would be coming by to deliver supplies to the schools as well. So, in my opinion, I think this entire building is a wonderful idea in a different neighborhood. The school is a wonderful thing to have. We're not opposed to that, but as you can see overwhelmingly from the people that spoke, we don't want the school in our neighborhood, and I hope that the board takes that into consideration.
Yes, you can.
Hi, Carol Borchek, 22 Short Road, Airmont. So initially, all right, it's stated there'll be 375 students. I'm sure it's going to go to 400, possibly even over. Just look at the UTA school on Cherry Lane. I mean, that's like thousands of students now. Why can't the children go to that school? It has grown. It's a massive school. And I do have many concerns in terms of, natural resources. We don't have the natural resources anymore. This area has gotten so much overdevelopment. You don't have the water, the sewer. The trees are going to be taken down, then that's going to be leading into massive flooding. The school builders say they're gonna just have like a little playground, or maybe not even a
Sorry,
playground
that's my
at all.
fault.
And, well, what about like these children? That's a disservice to the children. They're supposed to have, like, a New York State education offers physical ed. So where are these children gonna have some physical education? All right, that's part of, like New York State education. Again, Smith Hill Road is very dangerous. It's not gonna be accommodating these buses. It's gonna be massive wear and tear on the roads, again. Pollution. And again, just in terms of what we have just, well, maybe not everybody is aware, but there's been massive flooding out west, okay? And that's because of all different things happening with the natural resources. When you lose all your trees, it's gonna be like this concrete, like, massive wave, okay? It's gonna be like massive flooding. You might not see it now, but you gotta think of the future. Whatever buildings are occurring now, you have to have vision of the future of like flooding. It has been stated that now with the global warming, climate change, our air temperatures have now increased to like 4 degrees. With that increase of air temperature, the clouds are holding more water. We don't have to have a hurricane, we don't have to be near a river. Just what's occurring in the atmosphere, we can have massive clouds and rain and then flooding. There's going to be no trees, no grass to absorb all this rain. So again, a school is necessary, yeah, but this is not the appropriate place. It needs to be some place that can give these children, a playground that can be more safer. It is inappropriate for this neighborhood. And again, anything that is being done now for the overdevelopment, you need to think of the future. You need to think of the natural resources that we are losing, okay? And everything else that's happening with the global warming and the climate change. Because 10, 20 years from now, who knows what this place is really going to look like. Thank you.
Mitzi Kramer, there's one more person who wanted to go forward. Mitzi Kramer.
Hi, good evening. My name is Yitzhak Kramer.
Yeah, can we take a 2-minute break when they're done?
I live at 6 Daisy Courts,
Thank you.
which is around the corner from the property.
Could you speak up, sir, please?
Yes.
The best you can.
So, I just want to, I wasn't planning on speaking. All I want to do now is just to reiterate. I kept on hearing that we didn't try to negotiate, we didn't offer anything, we didn't try anything. I personally sat with the neighbors. Now, our original proposal had an outdoor swimming pool, tennis courts, and a pool house. When I sat with the neighbor 101 Smithville, they requested don't put anything in front of my property, remove everything. Besides for that, when I drove up to their lot to meet them, I saw how narrow their driveway is, and I saw that our retaining wall would be in their face. I offered to move it up 10 feet, and as you can see on the plan, it's 10 feet in. Now, the day of the first planning board hearing, I get a text message from Mr. Novi that he wants me to move it in another couple of feet. So I asked him how many feet. He tells me a few, so I'm telling me a number. He sent me a picture. I went it over, we measured it, it's 40 feet. That's unacceptable. I tried, we offered, I told him I'll give you cameras, I'll do whatever you want. But you're asking for something that's just not reasonable. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
And the last person I have signed up is Abraham Strauss.
Hi, my name is Abraham Strauss. I live at 1 Kathleen Court here in Hamilton, New York.
How far from the school?
Probably half a mile. Last time I was standing here in front of the board was when there was a hearing for the Atzola garage, which is on my street. And I came out here and I showed my support because I understand as a community has needs and we have to provide the needs to our community. One of the biggest needs that we have a lot of children. I believe that the community that lived here in Hamlin before was, they had their school and everything, but right now I have my daughter in this school and she's traveling to a school 1 hour. She's traveling on the bus 1 hour every day, and she's throwing up on the bus. We have to send her. We have to send along a bag. She'll be able to throw in the bag and clean up the mess every time when she comes home. So I'm begging and asking please to approve this, so we can have our children go to school safely and come home safely. Thank you very much.
Are we done?
That, we're done with who signed up.
Okay, I'd like to take a 2-minute break.
Okay. 2-minute break. There's a water cooler outside for anyone that needs water. A good extra cup. You're at 11. Sign up for the wrong one. It should be
We did our job. It's something you presented as
If you sell an hour, we have 5 acres.
So their options are more information, incentives, or rejected.
So there's 4 lots.
That's what we're discussing. They're human too.
I don't sell it, but I tell you. But it's only for the first house. I'll just make it try.
So they can accept, reject, or
It's like they have
You can make
This right here is not
There's no way. There's somebody with a tribe.
I just left for a year.
Does that help
I'm gonna be finished around 11.
Yeah, my youngest son came in from
Listen, I'm gonna delay my hearing for 30 days. Give you guys 30
Well, we used to work out. I got him in the car. I spoke earlier. You said something. I could not hear you.
This is the
What, this one here? So you're saying that you're not saying nothing. All right.
Okay, Suzanne, can we call the meeting to order?
Everyone would like to call the meeting to order from the chairman. Thank you. Please take your seats.
Okay, Suzanne, we're all done with the people.
That's everyone that signed up for the public hearing.
So I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Just before you vote on it, you don't
Yeah,
need
yeah.
any additional information, you have everything.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Want to close
I want to close the public hearing. Yeah, I'm not, well,
You know, you don't have to vote on this
that's
tonight.
up to the board.
You don't have to, you
Mr.
have
Chairman.
62 days to vote on this.
What do you
Just saying.
recommend?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'm not going to make a recommendation to you, that's for Mr. Crashauer to do. But I would like to make a quick response to some of the statements that were
As long
made.
as it's under 60 seconds.
I don't know about under 60 seconds, it'll be under 3 minutes.
Okay, please, brief.
Okay, absolutely, I know it's late, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. We've heard a lot of people, and I do not doubt the sincerity of any of them. Okay. People don't like change. People invest a lot of money in their homes. People invest a lot of emotion in their homes, in their neighborhoods. It's difficult to accept change. Okay, I've been doing this a long, long time. Okay, I understand that change is difficult. However, okay, this property owner, this school has certain rights. It has a right to make this application before the board. Has a right to have this board operate in accordance with the law. You heard a lot about the law this evening, especially from esteemed counsel Mr. Davis, who was the first one up. But what you didn't hear was the whole part of the law. You heard a lot of talk about the 5 parts of the balancing test. Okay? What you didn't hear about, except for when the chairman read a snippet from a New York case, what you didn't hear about was the special treatment that must be given under New York law to religious and educational institutions. I'm not talking about our LUPA here. Our LUPA just says you've got to treat religious institutions as fair, the same way that you treat other institutions. Okay? New York law doesn't say that. New York law says that when you weigh the scales, you have to put your thumb on the scale in favor of the religious and educational institution. This is nothing new. The snippet that the chairman read from is from 1968. Okay, the provision that, in New York State Court of Appeals that talks about how schools are inherently beneficial to residential areas dates to 1954. Okay, think about your neighborhoods. Think about where the schools are located. They're all located in residential neighborhoods. Of course, it's located in a residential neighborhood. Where else would you put a school? So, New York law says you've got to favor schools when you make your considerations. This is not, if we were putting up an office building or a shopping center, okay, the math lesson that Mr. Davis gave you would have a lot more import, okay? But we're talking about a religious and educational institution that is favored under New York State law. Thank you.
Okay, I'd now like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Okay.
At this point, all the motions involved and everything,
So we can hear you.
oh, yeah, correct. With all the comments that we heard, etc., I'm not convinced that we want to vote tonight. I'm not convinced we don't want to vote tonight. I would like to leave it up to the members to decide, not so much if we're going to approve or disapprove, but first I'd like to know from the members if we want to vote tonight or perhaps delay the vote until the next meeting.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
I believe under New York State village law, that this board has 62 days from the closure of the public hearing to render a decision. Yes, we usually 90-some-odd% of the time make decisions right then and there. Maybe this is some type of application that we might want to simmer in our heads and think about as individual board members and
So you're
come
going-
back in 30 days, or, you know, not necessarily 60 days or
Good,
62
okay,
days.
so you won't do
It's a suggestion.
Yes, I know, okay. Member Berger.
I'd like to point out something else.
Please.
There are a lot of review letters that were received.
Not a lot, just a few. There's no GML required. We have a letter from Rockland County Sewer.
That have to be part
I
of
think we're missing the mosquito letter, but
No, I got it today. I put it
Oh.
on your desk. We got the
Mhm.
environmental about the stormwater. That came on April 23rd. I didn't get the town of Ramapo yet. That comes in the mail, and that always comes a little bit after the fact. I did put in your packet the letter from the fire inspector, Tallman, just so you could see it, and Nelson Pope, our traffic engineer, that he approved it. So I did put those for the record. in
Are you
your
referring to the letters to the planning board?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
I just, so that they could see, because I
Yeah,
knew they
okay,
would
I
raise
just wanted to
them.
make
Yeah,
clear that they
I
were
knew
letters
would
to the
raise
planning
them.
board.
Yes, they were to the
Mr.
planning board.
Mr. Chairman?
yeah.
I might further suggest that members of the zoning board of appeals request permission from the property owner
Yeah.
to visit the property, as we're entitled to visit all properties,
Wasn't
and
there
that
written-
we could either meet as 5 people or individually or whatever, just to maybe give it your best impression, negative or positive, as to.
I would
It's
suggest
just a
individual
suggestion.
members. Listen, I know, that's the input that I want from the board members. So you're inclined to delay the vote, Member Berger?
Well, I think it's definitely one of the most contentious board meetings we've had. It's certainly,
Intense.
there's people that are in support, and you know, it's not partisan politics, I would say, either. There are a lot of considerations. I have actually a few questions that I would want to speak to council and maybe the yeshiva, just for some clarification before I would decide. But I'm thinking to kick the can down the road. I don't know that it benefits anybody, and I don't know if they've ever had. It looks like people, I don't know if they have the stamina for this, but I personally, I'd like to maybe even if there's a provision for it, Dan. I know in the planning board they have executory meetings, executive sessions. Is that something that would be sensible, or?
No.
It's questionable for you.
I don't think so.
I haven't heard any threats of litigation.
If I may, I have a couple of questions before I would really think to whether we should postpone the vote. And if I may, I'd like to address the council or the yeshiva. The schools that are located currently in Spring Valley, I believe on Main Street and one on Muncie, are those, they're divided into a
Dan,
K through
I'd like to
6?
hear.
Just give me 1 minute.
But that's it, okay.
May I continue? So K through 6, I believe, is one of them, and it's about 200 students currently. Is that school continuing on? Is this going to replace it? And have they thought about, typically, rather than having a school that's kindergarten through 12th grade, to maybe split it into K through 6 or something like that? Because it's not so clear cut. We obviously have the religious law, you know, that governs in New York and LUPA. So, you know, there's definitely benefits, and there's two sides to this that are, it doesn't make it crystal clear. I see this as a case that, you know, it's a lot of considerations involved. So I'm curious if they've considered making the school smaller, if they've considered splitting the grades in a way, because you know, you're asking for a pretty big consideration in order to be able to house, you know, K through 12. And I thought if that's a consideration, they should maybe at least address that with us. I don't know if everybody else thought of that, but that came to
We're not
mind.
here to give suggestions.
Well, that's a compromise. We're also looking to minimize the amount of variances, and if they were able to do that, maybe they go back to the drawing board and they come up with something a little more sensible.
I think
Taking that into
that's,
consideration, do you see what I think, council? I mean, that's a compromise. I think compromise is
I'm
always
going to defer to
good.
your counsel because the public hearing has been closed and therefore you should not be taking any additional information.
Which is why if you, which is why I asked the question, do you have any other information that hasn't been presented?
Yeah, I'm not thinking that's public comment. I'm thinking that's enabling us to make a wise decision.
If the board does have specific things that they would like the applicant to produce, or Mr. Cavella's suggestion about visiting the site,
Isn't there a written
I
version yet to
don't
visit the
see,
site?
a problem revoting to reopen the public hearing.
I thought it was premature to close it, quite frankly. Particularly if that was going to be a consideration that it would end any of these other discussions and clarifications. So reopen. So let's reopen it.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to reopen the public hearing in the case
I
of,
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
the,
Mr. Ira, would you?
You second that motion,
press this?
Monroe?
Chairman.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? So the public hearing is still open.
Mr. Chairman, unfortunately, I have no information on that.
Someone from the yeshiva able to speak
I
on
don't
that?
know if
They're in the hallway.
If he applied for X amount of students, and that's what the amount of students are, so what you're
So
asking for
they
is.
told me they could make the
want to
building
make
half
that-
the size of that degree. I'd be a lot more likely to
I
accept
said,
it.
okay, but that's what he applied for.
They also oftentimes will come back with recommendations, and maybe at the next hearing, if they continue it on, maybe they can revise
Well,
it.
he's asking a question. Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Berger, would you?
No, I have to
I just will restate it, I guess you weren't here, but I basically asked, I know you have two other